Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the City Council for Monday, April 17th, 2023 to order. And we will begin with prayer tonight. Will Reverend David Robinson from Genesis Community Ministries please lead us in prayer?
Good evening, Mayor, city officials. Let us take this opportunity to bow our heads before God and have a word of prayer. The scripture says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you." We pause this evening to say thank you, Lord, for all your blessings that you have poured upon the city and all our city officials. We also pause this evening to recognize Alderman Brown and Alderman Crawford, who have served this city for many years. And as change takes place, they will be replaced by new aldermen. And we just want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for your contribution to our city. And for those who will continue to serve, we pray that their legacy would lead to good lessons that would help all of us to make positive contributions to this beautiful city. We also want to take a moment to recognize Alderman Barron, who is in the house with us tonight. And he also had served before being replaced by his son many years in this good house. So we are thankful and grateful. And we continue to pray for our mayor today, that you will continue to give him the wisdom, the insight that he needs, and surround himself with the positive influences that he needs to lead the city, so that when his time comes to move on, he would have built on a previous mayor's legacy and would have left his own personal legacy in due course. So hear our prayer tonight. As we ask your blessing on all of us present, we ask this in Jesus' name, and we say amen, and amen.
The City Council will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time we'll move on to item 4, and that is public comment. Please give your name and direct your comments to the mayor. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. No personal attacks upon council members, staff, or other persons in attendance or absent will be permitted. In addition, discussions of matters which are currently under legal review will not be permitted. First up, we have Lisa Garcia.
Hello. My name is Lisa Garcia, and I work for Doug Baum and Michael Pinsky. They own the Clock Tower building and also the PNC building, which is located at 1 Dearborn Square. And I'm here to bring attention to the homeless issues that we have in the building. On a daily basis, I hear from tenants complaining that they will come across a homeless person sleeping in the stairwells, or sometimes they even use the restrooms in the stairwells. We implemented a controlled access system about a year and a half ago, where all of our tenants have key cards to get in and out of the building. This has worked during the daytime, but sometimes the homeless people will enter the building at the end of the day, and they hide and wait for the doors to lock at night, and then they tend to sleep in the stairwells. And our biggest fear is that our tenants are going to become scared and not want to keep their tenancy in our buildings. And so that's why I'm here today, to just kind of draw attention to that and hope that maybe the city can do something to better control the homeless in the business district. I know that just as a whole, the city has been doing a great job of bringing in new business. When we purchased the buildings in 2020, our occupancy was around 50%, and now we're probably close to 90% in both of those buildings. So it's really important for us to keep our tenants, but at the same time, we all know that when a person feels unsafe, that's when they decide to make a change, and we would hate for them to either move out of our building or move out of the city of Kankakee, their businesses. So that's all I'm here to draw attention to. Thank you for listening to me.
Next up is Aaron Napoleon.
Hi, my name is Aaron Napoleon. I'm one of the owners of Rose Laundry Boutique in downtown Kankakee. I'm also here to bring attention to the homeless, or the group that's been across the street from the downtown gazebo. I've already seen the city has already addressed this a little bit with signage, but the main thing that I'm here for is just because a lot of our customers come into our store and they don't feel safe. There's been numerous fights that we've witnessed outside, just one recently 2 weeks ago, and I'm worried that we're going to lose some of our customers because they don't feel safe coming to our store. Some of the other issues we've had is the people coming into our store and saying rude comments to our staff and our customers because they will not provide them with money or food. But I'm not sure what the steps that we need to do to take to correct this action, but I'm here just to address those. Thank you.
Next up is Dennis Barron.
Mayor, members of the council, I'm here to talk about things downtown, but as I'm walking in, I run into Carl Brown and then hear about Alderman Crawford, and I'm thinking, this is Alderman Crawford and Alderman Brown's last meeting. And I think, what a great opportunity to be here. I was on the council with both Alderman Crawford and Alderman Brown for a long time, and it truly was a pleasure to be on the council with them, and I'm really happy to be here tonight. I'm Dennis Barron, and for more than 45 years I've been an attorney practicing in Kankakee, and for all of those 45 years my law office has been downtown. One of the benefits of living and working here is the neighborhoods and downtown are walkable. So, all of my years of practice, I have walked downtown to work when I can. And while downtown every day of those 45 years, I've walked to the courthouse, to the county building, to the banks, to title companies, other offices, restaurants, and now retail establishments. So I see things. And in these 45 years, never have I seen a situation like this. On one hand, there's been an unprecedented investment in public funds, and appropriate public and private development. On the other hand, the hundreds of people that work downtown have never felt more intimidated, threatened, and less welcome in their working environment. The city government has the right and the responsibility to decide what is in everybody's best interest regarding how the land of the city is to be used. It's called zoning, it's called special uses, and what conditions are to be placed on those uses. In dealing with the homelessness in Kankakee County, it is not in anybody's best interest to allow overnight shelters with no thought given to what homeless people should do during the daytime. To do otherwise sets up the homeless for failure, which is being done, and creates an incredible burden on existing uses, like, for instance, the library, who has to change their focus, and retail establishments, which we've heard about. So what do we do in less than a minute and a half? From the homeless shelter, we need to determine, stated a different way, what does the best interest of everyone in our community and in this situation look like? I think it looks like requiring a real plan for homeless shelter for daytime activities for those being served overnight, and attracted to the area of the shelter. The Salvation Army did it for several decades, and it was not a problem. It was done well. And I think that the existing homeless shelters need to work with existing case management people and case management agencies, which are in existence for exactly the issue of the homeless downtown. Also, I think it looks like at least annual reviews as a special use condition to determine what is the best interest of the homeless and whether that's being provided for. I believe that the homeless are being set up for failure in our current situation, not just the individuals downtown, but the homeless themselves. And whether the best, and in the annual review, we should look at whether the best interest of the community as a whole is being provided for. Thank you. This requires this requires cooperation from not only the city, which my understanding has been forthcoming, but also from the homeless shelter. Thank you, and great to see you, Alderman Brown. Great to see you, Alderman Brown.
Nina Pilato.
Hi, I'm Nina Pilato. I'm one of the co-owners of Madam St. Vintage. We're a vintage store on South Schuyler that has been there since last June. So I'm also speaking to the issue of the group of people that has been out at the gazebo. We have had individuals coming into the store who have been asking for money for food, money for bus passes, things like that. For the most part, other than being a minor issue, it's been okay. We have had a couple of situations where the individuals were not very pleasant and were swearing at us after being turned away or not given money or food that they liked. So I think that for Melissa and I, my co-owner and I, we are often at the store by ourselves, so there is a bit of a safety concern sometimes. But I think that for us, seeing the gazebo closed is kind of a little bit bittersweet, meaning that people can't actually use it. And then the people are just displaced, and they're now at the train depot. So the displacement from one place to another may solve the issue of people being in the parking lot across the street, but now they're still drinking and smoking and public urination in another spot downtown. And kind of piggybacking off of what Dennis said about needing daytime services, I think that's a huge need in the community with the shelters being here. And I just would like to say that personally, I don't think that this is a homeless issue. I think that this is an issue of people who have substance abuse disorders or addiction issues that are not being addressed, or they do not want to address them themselves. So I think that sometimes we need to separate out, and not treat all of the individuals that are hanging out in public the same way. I think that's it. Thank you.
Peggy Mayer.
My name is Peggy Mayer. I'm a resident of the city of Kankakee. I grew up here, I left, and I came back to raise my family. I'm also the executive director of the Kankakee Development Corporation, which is made up of people dedicated to creating a thriving downtown Kankakee. We are responsible for sidewalk dining, downtown murals, rent rebates, and facade improvement incentives to name a few. We play a lead role in our events partnership that puts on Sunset Stroll, Friday night concerts, Saturday night car shows, and Merchant Street Music Fest. I truly believe in downtown Kankakee. We've made real progress in recent years to create wonderful public spaces and events in our community's front yard, and I have spent much of my adult life promoting our community. I spend much of my working day in downtown Kankakee. I come from the experience when I say that the homeless situation in downtown Kankakee has never been this bad. Since I started in my position, there's been homeless people downtown, but it is at an all-time high. We're an urban community. It didn't create too much of a problem to start with, but the numbers have climbed substantially during the past 2 years, and even more so in this past year. During the last 3 to 4 weeks, it has reached a new fever pitch. This is having a real impact and a toll on our downtown, its businesses, our events, our residents, and more. Private rentals of the depot are way down. And I get regular reports from our downtown businesses of people sleeping outside and inside their buildings, urinating on their property, threatening and intimidating while panhandling, loitering, and shoplifting. This is not sustainable. Homelessness is clearly an issue, but concentrating all of the homeless resources, the treatment centers, the only shelters, and not just in the county, but in the region, in a single community, a single area, is not the solution. It is a way to make sure that the numbers of homelessness downtown are going to continue to grow if all of those resources are placed in one vicinity. Homelessness is a 24-hour challenge. So an overnight solution, an overnight-only shelter is not the solution. Downtown Kankakee cannot be the only solution to this issue, and the city of Kankakee cannot and should not be the only community to shoulder this burden. Thank you.
Bill Yanka.
Good evening. I'm Bill Yanka, Second Ward resident, and up until a few months ago, resident of downtown Kankakee and the on-site director of the farmers market on Saturday mornings. I want to be real clear about this. As a white guy who's like, as big as me, I am pretty privileged in this situation that I could live downtown Kankakee and not have the same issues other people sometimes feel. But I'm very sensitive to people who feel unsafe walking to their cars, being in their businesses alone. And it's something that I've kind of grown to understand over this time, because it's different than it was over the years I've been working downtown. And I hate to use the word homelessness too much, because I think we have a problem with bullies. We have a problem with people who become really pushy and being what we call in school bullies. And I am undeterred in my love of Kankakee, and that we're going to keep doing great things here. Because when it comes to things that are awesome, when it comes to things that are diverse, when it comes to things that are inclusive, Kankakee is the place in our community, in our county. If you look at, being biased, our farmers market, our Kankakee Public Library, our Merchant Street Music Fest, those things don't exist anywhere else in the county, because we have this power of diversity that we embrace. And for so long in working downtown, I've always tried to have that same spirit when it came to people who were unhomed. Because usually there were people who I had had an experience with, or I knew somehow. And I could honestly tell people, they're fine. They're living their life just like you're living your life now. People might look different or act a little different, but it's fine. And I can honestly say now, it's not. And that bothers me. I just have to say that. But it needs to be addressed. And there's an issue of that same spirit of the ones who are doing the awesome, diverse, inclusive things is why we would say, yes, we'll take on a shelter in our community. Well, I don't like the idea of other communities writing a check and washing their hands of problems. I think it's a community, county, region-wide issue. So we have a thing at the farmers market where we would say every Saturday for like the past 15 or so years I've been involved in it, we would say that we were chipping away at the negative perception of Kankakee every Saturday morning. When I was questioned about it by the KDC board, we're chipping away at this perception issue every time people from all over the area come to Kankakee and have a great experience they couldn't have anywhere else. I hate that things like this happen that set us back. And I think we need to take a larger community-wide approach to dealing with a real issue of homelessness, but also the smaller issue of letting a handful, a group, a small mob of bullies take us off course. Thanks.
Steve Harder.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, first off, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come today and address these issues. I, like most of the prior speakers, am talking about the issue in downtown Kankakee. I've now worked in Kankakee downtown at the Knights of Columbus building for the past 10 years. I recently moved to Kankakee about a year and a half ago, and we've been seeing a lot of changes just in the past year and a half. Not just because we're now living here, but just in the time that I've spent in the downtown area, as I'm sure you're all well aware, things have been changing. So please don't misconstrue some of the things I'm going to bring up as complaining. This is more or less just, I want to get these stories out there for people to understand and really understand the severity of it and hopefully be able to address it. So one of the first things I wanted to mention was my son, after moving here, he would have friends over. At the time, he's 17 years old, and he'd have his friends over at our house for sleepovers. One of his friends, on his way home from our house, was stopping at the gas and wash. At the gas and wash, he was absconded by somebody saying, hey, I need some money, I need some money. And he was kind of put back a little bit, just being a 17-year-old kid. And he said, I'm sorry, he opens his wallet, he said, I'm sorry, all I have is 20. And the guy said, well, that's fine, that'll do. So he takes the 20 from the kid, and the kid goes in the store, not able to buy what he was expecting to buy. And then he comes back out of the store, and then I guess word got around, and some other guys come up like, oh, you're giving him a 20, I need a 20. Well, I tell that story because he went home and told his parents that story, and now here's a boy from Bourbonnais who's no longer allowed to come into Kankakee. So now if my son wants to go visit his friend, it has to be always in Bourbonnais. He can never come and stay the night at our house again. Some of the other issues we've had, I have properties in the area. We do work on the properties to remodel them. So we had another property where I was doing some work and a couple came up. The lady had 2 black eyes that were given to her by somebody else according to her boyfriend. And her boyfriend starts asking for some money, and I said, I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you. But I started asking him, well, I haven't seen you around here. Where are you from? He said, I'm actually from Texas. And I said, well, what brought you here? And he said, Fortitude. And I said, well, why aren't you at Fortitude? Are you spending the night there still? He said, no, they kicked me out, and my girlfriend. And which I understand, you can't condone that kind of behavior, but now, here they are, the city's problem. Now, it doesn't sound like he's going back to Texas. He's trying to make a go of it here without the help of Fortitude. And now it's just he's falling on the streets of Kankakee and for everybody else to pick up the pieces. I had another man come it was a freezing cold day in winter, and he was trying to get warm coming into the Knights of Columbus as I was leaving. I let him in, and we talked a little bit, and I said, why don't you warm up? I said, I could drive you where you need to go. Where are you looking to go? And he said, well, I'm here for Fortitude. And he had a brochure with him that he was given from whatever municipality that he came from with a bus ticket. And they bought him a bus ticket from Missouri to come here, saying to go to Fortitude, they're going to take care of you. So I had driven them over. It looked like they were closed. I don't remember what day it was. They may not have been closed, but I said, well, I could drive you to the police department because they might know where you can go. So that's what I did. And in the time talking to him and everything, he told me a story about how he was in Missouri and how they came to him, approached him, gave him this brochure, gave him the bus ticket. Now here he is. I'm remodeling another home on South Chicago, the 400 block, not too far from downtown Kankakee, and I just got a call earlier today from one of my workers saying that a homeless gentleman, it appeared, had climbed the antenna that was right next to the house, decided to defecate on the roof, and then climb back down and leave it for us to clean up. This is in the middle of the day that we're dealing with this. So again, I don't mean to bring these situations or stories up sounding like I'm complaining, because I very much appreciate all the work that you guys are doing. I hope to continue that work, but I didn't want the narrative to continue to go in the way that it was, in the way that I was reading them in the papers, is that everything's hunky-dory and that downtown's doing great and that there's no issues with the homeless, no issues with Fortitude. Every time I would read the paper, I would double check myself, like, am I missing something? But hearing some of the other stories from these people as well, I think just adds credence to it. So again, I thank you all for your time. I thank you for your hard work on this. Thank you.
Terrence Hooper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the council for having me here tonight. So I live here in Kankakee. I've had a business here for 9 years, actually several businesses. So I've been downtown for a long time. Recently, we've seen a resurgence or a huge surge in homeless population, things from threatening my employees, fighting, which we documented and sent to our aldermen, locking themselves in our bathrooms, stealing tips from our employees. We've had a hard time retaining and keeping people at the ice cream shop due to some of this. So really here to just highlight what we're experiencing, shed light on that. I don't know the solution. I'm here to be part of whatever that is. We're open to helping both that population, and we have for a long time. I've given those people jobs. I've given them odd jobs, things to do. We've given them money, but recently we've just seen things we've never seen before, and we're definitely looking to the city for guidance on that. So thank you for your time.
Next, we're going to move on to item 5, and that's roll call. City Council.
Brown.
Here.
Jones.
Present.
Johnson. Here. Cobbs.
Here.
Lewis.
Here.
Navarez.
Here.
Marzak.
Present.
Swanson. Here. Crawford.
Here.
Osenga.
Present.
O'Brien.
Here.
Barron.
Here.
Malone Marshall. Present. Fruit.
Here.
14 present, 0 absent.
We do have a quorum. Next, 5B, department heads.
Passwater. Here. LaRoche. Here. Kubel.
Present.
Sanchi.
Here.
Lopez. Here. Pigash.
Present.
Nelson. Beasley. Hoffman. Croswell. Brewer Watson. Thank you.
Next is item 6, the minutes. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes from Monday, April 3rd, 2023?
So move, Mayor Curtis.
We have a motion from Alderman Osenga. Is there a second? We have a second from Alderman Crawford. Is there any questions, comments, changes, or additions to the minutes? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis. Aye. Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Prue.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Minutes from Monday, April 3rd, 2023 are approved. Item 7 is petitions. We have none. Item 8, communications.
We have a presentation by the Public Works Department recognizing arborists Leroy Smith and Brandon Collins.
If I could invite Mr. James Lopez and Mr. Frank Hassick forward.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Frank Hassick. I'm one of the operations managers with the City of Kankakee Public Works. And here tonight, I'm here to recognize 2 individuals. One individual is a 42-year member, Leroy Smith, of the Department of Public Works. He was the city's actual first arborist. So with that arborist degree, it's an internationally certified arborist. So he's not just a local, he's not just a state, he's not just our country, he's an internationally certified arborist. So we're recognizing him tonight in addition to 23-year veteran in the current City of Kankakee arborist, Brandon Collins. Again, he's an internationally certified arborist, so we're very appreciative of their work that they've done for the city. You know, for those of you who don't know, the definition of an arborist is basically a tree specialist. So these two are two tree specialists, and they have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience with arboriculture and tree needs and care. And our city is rich with trees, so it's very important that we continue to have an arborist on staff at the Public Works to be able to address a lot of concerns and issues that the residents and aldermen and women have throughout our city with the trees. So here tonight, we're going to recognize them for their hard work that they've put in over their career, and we're very thankful for them to have them be a part of our city and all the work that they've done. Just another quick minute. So the city of Kankakee has about 8,000 trees that they take care of. A lot of people don't know that. You know, when they call in and say, I've had an issue or concern with my tree for a long period of time, you know, these are the guys that were responsible for over 8,000 trees. We had that emerald ash borer come in, took out about 2,500, 3,000 trees. These guys took the brunt of it. So it's a very labor-intensive job. It's a very hard-working job. And they really pour their blood, sweat, and tears into this city. So that's why we're here tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Like Mr. Hassick said, obviously, we have a lot of trees in the city. It's one of the great things that makes our community a little bit different than others with all the mature trees and everything. And when those diseases kind of came through, it took a long time to get those trees cut down, taken away. And I think it was about last summer that they finally, after many, many years, have eradicated our problem with the disease. And so hopefully going forward, we'll have nothing but more new trees being planted and hopefully disease-free going forward with a long life ahead of them. So, next is item 8B.
On the Rocks, located at 670 West Station Street, is requesting a noise permit to host their annual outdoor entertainment beginning Friday, April 28, 2023 through Tuesday, October 31st, 2023 from 8 o'clock p.m. until 12 o'clock a.m. midnight.
Is there a motion for the approval of the noise permit request?
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderwoman Lewis.
Second.
We have a second from Alderman Navarez. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien. Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall.
Aye.
Crude.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Noise permit is approved. Next, we'll move on to number 9, standing committees, 9A.
Public safety for Tuesday, March 7th, 2023.
Alderman Brown, did you lead that meeting, I believe?
Yes, I did,
Okay.
Mayor. Thank you.
I think that was
Thank
what
you.
I missed. So, you'll lead us? Thank you.
First of all, the meeting was called to order at 5:30. The roll call was presented. We did have a quorum. There was no public comments. There was the minutes submitted for December 6th of 2022, as well as the minute for February 7th of 2023. There was a motion by Alderman Cox and second by Alderman Navarez to combine those minutes. And that was approved by voice vote, and there was a motion by Alderman Cox and second by Alderman Navarez to approve those sets of minutes. And that those minutes were approved by roll call vote, 5 ayes, no nays, 1 abstention. Next, we moved on to the chief's reports. The number 1 report was given by Chief Robin Passwater. He submitted his monthly report for February 2023. He stated that his personnel budget was for 6-7 officer, but because of some injury, work comp, and academy training, his active full force
for the month of February total only 56 officers. He stated that he had 4 new hires at the Police Institute at the University of Illinois campus with a completion date set for April of 2023. He also had 2 officers in the field training program. He will be working with the Police Commission next week to review candidates. The ladder-in process was closed. He reserved 2 slots for May and 3 slots for September at the Police Academy for new officers. He also stated that the promotion testing for rank of lieutenant will be on April 4th, and the list should be posted in late April. He also stated that the department has all the new Ford Explorers that was ordered in 2023 in service, and they will be preparing for the order of the 2024 squad vehicles. He reported that the department and KMAT have recovered 31 guns in Kankakee since January of 2023, and in the month of February he recovered 10 firearms. He also reported that the camera update, he had 50 Vakata cameras operating now in the city of Kankakee. These cameras covered high traffic areas. ESU department had built the camera trailer with 4 Vakata cameras and is now working to get 20 more cameras into the neighborhoods. On the Flox cameras, the department is waiting on the DOT to permit to install additional Flox cameras on the west side. Please remember that the Vakata cameras are the cameras that's in the neighborhoods, and the Flox cameras is license plate readers, so everybody would know that. So those are the difference. He also stated that he's conducted stereo-based training at KCC on the Safety Act, which the state is required. He planned on being compliant with the safety requirement by the end of 2023. He reported the bill for the month of February totaled $110,667.73. That was a motion by Alderman Navarro, second by Alderman Osinga to approve the bill. The bill was approved by roll call vote, 7 ayes, no nays. The overtime for February totaled 124.25 hours, and that's about $8,000 compared to 171.50 hours in 2022. Department stats for February is listed below in the report. The report that he submitted to the FBI is listed in the report. Chief Pathwood also submitted the department year-end report for review before being presented to the full city council. Chief Pathwood also presented a copy of the Raccoon crime-free housing ordinance to the committee for discussion. He detailed the benefits of this ordinance to help the police department as well as landlords in the community. The ordinance was presented to others by Alderman Dave Barron, that brought the attention of this ordinance. The committee thinks that this ordinance needs further input from the council, and it would be forwarded to the new Public Safety Committee chair for further discussion. Report 2 is Chief Bryant LaRoche. He submitted his monthly reports. For February, the bills totaled $23,833.16. There was a motion by Alderman Navarro, second by Alderman O'Brien to approve the bill. The bill was approved by roll call vote, 7 ayes, no nays. The larger expenditure was due to the repairs of the area transmission, the Tower 1, fuel costs, and the EMS supplies. Budget staff level for 2023 is 51, with 2 administrative secretary staff members. The staff level for February will total 50 firefighters. One of the department personnel is currently on alternative light duty from a work-related injury, and 3 department personnel are attending paramedic classes. Overtime for the month totaled 251.75 hours. 8 hours overtime was assigned to personnel attending paramedic classes while off duty. 2 months left in that fiscal year, he was at 32% of his overtime budget would still remain. The call volume for the report, for the monthly report, is listed in the report. The The fire billing for the month of January totaled $9,588.80 collected. EMS billing for January total was $623,750.56 billed out, with approximately $197,140.19 received in revenues. February billing sent out and received to be reported in April. The fire department, the Fire Prevention Bureau conducted 123 fire safety inspection and re-inspection for business in January. They installed 28 smoke detectors in residents in the city of Kankakee. 55 liquor license inspected in conjunction with Code Department. The Bureau also multi-education events and fairway, as well as provide an award to schools for their home safety program. The department provided a list of required training for February and March of 2023. Chief LaRoche also provided a year-end fire report to the committee to be reviewed before presented to the full council. Being no further business, we adjourn at 6:20.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Next is item 9B.
Economic Development for Thursday, March 23rd, 2023.
Alderman Cobbs.
Thank you, Mayor. The regular meeting of the Economic Development Committee of the Kankakee City Council was called to order by myself on Thursday at 6:02. There was a quorum present. Additional members of the council, Alderman Bryan, Alderman Lance Marsek, Alderman Johnson, and Kankakee Riverfront Executive Director Bill Yonka. There was a quorum present. There was a motion to go into recess. Hold on. Oh, a motion to go into recess. Oh, the minutes read from January 26th did pass. A motion by Alderman Jones, second by Alderwoman Lewis. Upon a motion by Alderman Barron and second by Alderwoman Lewis, the committee voted on a voice vote to go into recess. Upon a motion at 6:08. On a motion by Alderman Jones and second by Alderwoman Lewis, the committee voted on a voice vote to return from its recess at 6:11. ECDA Executive Director Barbara Brill Watson and Doug Bauman of Bauman Development had joined the meeting at this time. Ms. Brill Watson welcomed Mr. Bauman, Mr. Baum, my apologies, to present a potential project redevelopment agreement with the city for property located at 505 South Schuyler, which he owns with his partner, Mike Penske. Mr. Baum described a 23,000 square foot building that is currently vacant after the Department of Children and Family Services relocated the office in 2021. He indicated that over $2 million would be required to fix the building with improvements to the facade, parking lot, and internal office space, ceiling, and roof replacement. He stated he had a likely tenant for 4,000 square feet, and he would be seeking assistance from the Riverfront TIF in the amount of more than $1 million to complete the project. Alderwoman Johnson inquired about the likely tenant, and Mr. Baum responded that it was a regional social service provider engaged in group and one-on-one counseling and drug and alcohol treatment. Committee members discussed whether the use aligned with the city's development objectives at the location being adjacent to the proposed river walk. Mr. Baum argued that it is important to start with a tenant that brings cash flow and to people. Ms. Brill Watson provided her executive director's report. She stated that 42 new businesses have been granted licenses this year. Chairman Cobbs asked about the status of Tesla Associate Studies on West Avenue, Dearborn Square, and Exit 312 Gateway Development. Ms. Brill Watson stated that Mr. Hoffman will have rendering to present soon. Upon a motion by Alderwoman Lewis and seconded by Alderman Jones, the committee adjourned at 7:14 p.m. with a voice vote. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Cobb. Next is item 9C.
Ordinance for Tuesday, March 28th, 2023.
Alderman Crawford.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I was out of town on business for that meeting, and Vice Chair Cobbs ran the meeting, so he'll go ahead and...
Hope you're not tired of listening to my voice there. The regular meeting of Ordinance Committee of the City of Kankakee was called to order on Tuesday, May 28th in the council chambers. Proper notice has been given to the public committees. The following committee members were present: Alderman Barron, Alderman Marsick, myself, Alderman Jones. The following committee members were absent: Mama Marshall, Crawford, Navarez. The following guests were also present: Mayor Chris Curtis, Alderman Larry Osinga, Chief Bryant LaRoche, and Planning Director Mike Hoffman. We did have a quorum. There were no public comments. Chairman Cobbs recognized Alderman Barron, who requested the issue of emergency shelter day service be raised for discussion. Alderman Barron stated that the number of homeless individuals in the downtown area had increased dramatically in the recent months, and particularly during the past couple of weeks. He had received reports of several individuals coming from outside the county after having heard of available resources here. Alderman Barron read a statement from the Kankakee Public Library Director, Allison Beasley, who described the increase of patrons experiencing homelessness and the numerous steps needed to be taken by library staff to respond to property damage and disruptive behavior. Alderman Barron described complaints that he had received from downtown businesses, including a threat received after refusing to provide funds to a panhandler. He contended that the city should be more assertive in at least requiring emergency shelters to provide day services, and that the current model of Fortitude community outreach is imposing an increasing and unsustainable level of strain on our downtown. Alderman Cobbs agreed and argued that there needs to be more than a place to sleep. Chief LaRoche described proposed changes to the fire protection and prevention ordinance. First, the fines for the third false alarm and additional false alarms within a 12-month period would be increased. Second, a knockbox giving key to access to the fire department will be required for multifamily properties with 2 or more units up from the requirement from properties with 3 or more. Third, the city's ordinance would codify the current NFPA code and any updates thereto. Upon a motion made by Alderman Jones, second by Alderman Barron, the committee unanimously voted via voice vote to combine items 3A and E on the agenda. Upon a motion by Alderman Marsack and second by Alderman Jones, the committee voted via roll call to send 3A and 3E on the agenda to the full city council. Director Hoffman then reported that a large electronic sign had been proposed to the railroad crossing Wall Street on the city's west side. On the current zoning ordinance, such a sign would likely be permitted. Several nearby businesses and residents have voiced their opposition to the sign. Upon a motion by Alderman Barron, second by Alderman Marsack, the committee voted via roll call to recommend for approval to the full city. Oh, wait a minute. Let me back up here. That director proposed to the committee a text amendment to the zoning that would render all billboard signs conditional use in industrial areas similar to their treatment in commercial zones. Upon a motion by Alderman Barron and second by Alderman Marsack, the city voted via roll call to recommend for approval to the full city council and planning board text amendment to the zoning ordinance that billboards be made a conditional use in all industrial areas. I'm trying to get the short version here. Oh, Mayor Curtis reported on the work of Chief Passwater to reform the city's illegal dumping ordinance to allow for ticketing the owner of a vehicle that is used to engage in illegal dumping. The department sometimes obtains the license plates of such vehicles by camera. This will be similar to the treatment of vehicles used in commission of a crime. Mayor Curtis reported on the work of Clerk Stacy Gall to reform the itinerant merchants and transit vendors license ordinance to allow for a separate and better tailored license for food trucks in the city. The details are within the minutes and open for public view. Chairman Cobb recognized Alderman Barron requested that issue of alcohol and drug uses be placed on the agenda. Alderman Barron reported that at another committee meeting, this issue was raised, that it was determined in conjunction with Director Hoffman that inpatient drug and alcohol treatment was currently a permitted use in C3 district, and outpatient drug and alcohol treatment was currently permitted use in a commercial district. Director Hoffman noted that additional layer of review provided by conditional permit would be helpful. Upon a motion made by Alderman Marsack and second by Alderman Jones, the committee voted via roll call to recommend for approval to the full city council and planning board a text amendment to zoning ordinance that drug and alcohol treatments be made a conditional use in all commercial areas. Man, this is we had a full agenda. Mayor Curtis asks to return to the issue of emergency shelter day services and council preference in any funding agreement with Fortitude. He describes some of the measures being discussed, including a direct line of communication with Fortitude leadership and the police department. Restrictions on guests returning to Fortitude after being issued a number of citations, limitations on stays for persons with last known address outside the county, and priority list for persons with last known addresses within the county. The committee expressed that day services, at a minimum, should consist of warm, supervised shelter space available during day hours to accommodate no less than a number of beds for the night service. Upon a motion by Alderman Barron, second by Alderman Jones, the committee voted to adjourn at 7:23. The next ordinance meeting will be Tuesday, April 25th at 5:30.
Thank you, Alderman Cobb. You want to do the next one?
No.
Item 9D.
License and franchise for Thursday, April 6th, 2023.
Alderman Osinga.
I promise my report won't be that long. License and franchise met on Thursday, April the 6th at 5:30. We did have committee members present. There were no public comments. Under old business, we once again looked at a liquor license for a new business known as Flanagan's Irish Pub at 150 North Schuyler. They'll be located in the basement of the Majestic Building. They've got about 2,000 square feet down there. They want to remodel it. And there is an entrance from the street where you'll be able to walk right down into the pub. We discussed it. There was a motion and a second, and we approved a liquor license for this new business. Mayor Curtis brought up discussion again about Clearwater fiber optics program. Legal will continue reviewing this program. Big Ash Engineering will be reviewing their plans where their underground lines will be located. Clearwater has a different process for boring, much different than companies like ComEd or Nicor. Big Ash would like to take a good look at this and make sure they know what they're doing. This will be an ongoing process, so there's nothing. Under new business, we issued a liquor license for a company known as the Lush Vine at 150 North Schuyler. They're going to be going into where the Stafari Cafe was located. They're going down on Southwest Avenue. This is similar to the Flight 102 in Bourbonnais. They'll serve food in the afternoon, and it will be a wine bar in the evening. After some discussion and a motion and a second, we agreed to give this company a liquor license. We had a discussion about a liquor license for a business known as AM Petro LLC DPA Gas Depot. This is at 330 South Nelson. They're looking to sell packaged liquor out of there, and this would be a Class C license. There was some concern by committee members, and if this is in too close a proximity to the school there, that's going to be followed up on. And this was tabled for further review. We had no need for an executive session. We were adjourned at 6:05 p.m. Next meeting, the license and franchise will be Thursday, May 4th at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you, Alderman Osinga. We'll now move on to item 10A.
We have City of Kankakee bills in the amount of $345,048.01.
Do we have a motion for the approval, for the report of officers for the City of Kankakee?
I'll make the motion, Mayor, to approve the report of officers. Let's pay the bills in the amount of $345,048.01.
We have a motion from Alderman Navarez. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
We have a second from Alderman Brown. Is there any questions or comments regarding the bills for the City of Kankakee?
Mayor.
Alderwoman Lewis.
Check number 3486.
City petty cash. That was the money that was used for the first gun buyback that we took out for that event. So we did that. We did pay through that through Kankakee United ARPA funds to help assist with that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Is there any other questions regarding bills? Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye, but I abstain as to check 80679 to the Community Foundation, checks 80692 and 3489 to Gordon Electric Supply, and checks 80707 and 3490 to Biggish Engineering.
Thank you. Malone Marshall?
Aye.
Approved.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Next is item 10B, Environmental Services Utility.
In the amount of $705,785.89.
Is there a motion for the approval of the Environmental Services Utility Report of Officers?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Alderwoman Swanson. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mayor.
We have a second from Alderman Osinga. Any questions or comments regarding the ESU bills? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Johnson? Aye. Cobbs?
Aye.
Lewis?
Aye.
Navarez?
Aye.
Marzak?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Crawford?
Aye.
Osenga?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye, but I abstain as to check 33309 to Barron Hewitt Oil Company, check 33329 to Gordon Electric Supply, check 33336 to Kankakee Truck Equipment, check 33337 to Kankakee Valley Construction Company, and check 33347 to Biggish Engineering.
Thank you. Malone Marshall?
Aye.
Approved.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, bills for ESU are approved. Item 11, unfinished business, we have none. We're now going to move into item 12, new business. We have a lot here, so, but we'll go through, and please ask any questions or comments as we go through this. Several of these will require the suspension of rules because they are due by May 1st for several of these items here. So we'll start with item 12A.
An ordinance amending Chapter 27 and a half, Police and Fire Commission Board of the Kankakee Municipal Code and authorizing the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners of the City of Kankakee, Illinois, to amend their rules and regulations.
So this is something that Chief Passwater, Chief LaRoche, Legal has been working on for many, many months. It was reviewed by the Police and Fire Commission Board, their attorneys, working with our legal, and it's clearing up a lot of different things from the past. Chief Passwater, would you have anything, or Chief LaRoche, you'd like to add to that, or?
No, I mean, we have worked on it since January, they started working on it, and they just cleaned up the rules, made it more easier for new police and fire commissioners to come on, to be able to read them, follow along with them. And then some of this has to do with the legality of home rule on some extra discipline that the police and fire commission.
Yep. Mr. Sanchi?
Yeah, so the police of fire and police commissioners, the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners is a statutory entity, but because the city is home rule, the city has the ability to give them additional powers other than what's statutorily prescribed. This allows for different and greater disciplinary mechanisms as well as greater flexibility with some of the procedural aspects of it. That's why it's being approved by ordinance of the city council, because the Board of Police and Fire Commissioners doesn't have home rule authority. It's only the city council authorizing them to adopt this rule set that will allow them to do so.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules for passage of this?
Motion to suspend the rules that interfere with the passage of this ordinance.
We have a motion from Alderman Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderman Osinga. Roll call.
Brown?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Johnson? Aye. Cobbs?
Aye.
Lewis?
Aye.
Navarez?
Aye.
Marzak?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Crawford?
Aye.
Osenga?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye.
Malone Marshall? Aye. Approved.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Is there a motion to place this ordinance on final reading for passage tonight?
So move.
We have a motion from Alderman Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderman Osinga. Is there any questions or comments regarding the ordinance? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Johnson? Aye. Cobbs?
Aye.
Lewis? Navarez?
Aye.
Marzak?
Aye.
Swanson?
Aye.
Crawford?
Aye.
Osenga?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye.
Malone Marshall? Aye. Approved.
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays. One might be right back.
Ordinance amending Chapter 27 is passed. Next is item 12B.
Ordinance declaring certain property surplus of the city of Kankakee and the Kankakee Fire Department and authorizing the sale thereof.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules for the interference of the passage of this ordinance tonight?
So moved, Mayor.
We have a motion from Alderman Elsinga. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second from Alderman Brown. Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis. Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Prue.
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays.
Is there a motion to place this ordinance on final reading for passage tonight?
So moved, Mayor.
We have a motion from Alderman Elsinga. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderman Brown. Chief, you want to quickly explain what we're surplusing?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. So we have some old digital cameras that we use for fire investigations that have been replaced a few years back. They're just sitting in an office, and like there's just five digital cameras. Probably end up just giving them away.
Is there any questions or comments regarding the surplus of the fire department? Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Prue.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, ordinance passes. Next is item 12C.
An ordinance declaring certain property surplus of the city of Kankakee in the Kankakee Police Department and authorizing the sale thereof.
Is there a motion to place this ordinance, is there a motion to suspend the rules for the passage of this ordinance?
Motion to suspend the rules and interfere with the passage of this ordinance.
We have a motion from Alderman Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderman Osinga. Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Prue.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Is there a motion to place this ordinance on final reading for passage tonight?
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderman Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderman Osinga. This is a Dodge Charger, correct, Chief Passwater?
2018 Dodge Chargers Black Car.
Any questions or comments regarding this? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Prue.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Ordinance is approved. Next is item 12D.
An ordinance approving a Class A liquor license at the location of 150 North Schuyler Avenue, Suite 101 in Kankakee.
This is for the space that would backfill the Safari Cafe. Is there a motion to suspend the rules for the passage of this ordinance tonight?
So moved, Mayor.
We have a motion from Alderman Prude. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderwoman Malone Marshall. Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Prue.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Is there a motion to place this ordinance on final reading for passage tonight?
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderman Prude. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderwoman Malone Marshall. Any questions or comments regarding this Class A liquor license? Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien. Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Prue.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Ordinance passes. Next is item 12E.
Ordinance approving a Class A liquor license at the location of 150 North Schuyler Avenue, lower level in Kankakee.
This is the ordinance for the lower level, which would be the Irish Pub Flanagan's. Is there a motion to suspend the rules for the passage of this ordinance tonight?
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderman Prude. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderwoman Malone Marshall. Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Prue.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Is there a motion to place this ordinance on final reading for passage?
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderman Prude.
Second.
We have a second from Alderwoman Malone Marshall. Is there any questions or comments regarding this license? Roll call?
Brown. Aye. Jones.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall.
Aye.
Prude.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Ordinance passes. Next is item 12F.
An ordinance further amending the conditional use permit previously issued or amended for a banquet hall located at 1060 East Birch Street in Kankakee.
This is the ordinance. We approved this in 2021. They are currently, I'll let Mr. Piggish talk about this. They are currently working with the conditional use permits engineer. There is a little bit of some Hobby Avenue construction that is going on with this, but they have been working back and forth. And Mr. Piggish, if you can just talk briefly about this.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. This has kind of been in limbo a little bit. We have been working with the engineer, but they really can't start construction until the storm sewer on Hobby Avenue is put in because there's no storm sewer on Birch Street for them to tie their drainage into for this project. They did just resubmit plans to me late last week, so, but we have been having dialogue with the engineer for the last couple months. They just haven't gotten the plans because they knew there really wasn't a reason to, since they weren't going to be able to start work until the storm sewer was installed later this summer or early fall. So
this is an ordinance asking for extension, I believe, to October 31st to complete that work that's required as part of the conditional use permit. Is there a motion to suspend the rules for the passage of this ordinance?
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderman Prude. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderwoman Malone Marshall. Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Abstain.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall.
Aye.
Prude.
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 abstention.
Is there a motion to place this ordinance on final reading for passage tonight?
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderman Prude. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderwoman Malone Marshall. Is there any questions or comments regarding this ordinance?
Mayor?
Alderman Prude.
Yeah, Neil, question. I know that it was extended to October 31st. Is that based on you guys having that work done between August and September?
I think they can get a majority of their work done and probably stub the pipe out to the property line, and then when we get there, we can tie it in. I mean, you know, even if we're not there, I think we will be there by that point, but they can run it there even if our storm sewer isn't completely installed.
Okay. All right.
Roll call? Oh, sorry, was there another call?
Oh,
I'm sorry, okay. Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall.
Aye.
Prude.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Ordinance passes. Next is item 12G.
A special ordinance authorizing conceiving of private activity bonding authority, Will Kankakee Regional Development Authority.
So we've done this annually for many years now. This is, funds are allocated from the state of Illinois to our area. If we don't have a project that they're being used for, we often will, if we don't allocate them to the Will Kankakee Regional Development Authority, which we're part of, before May 1st, those funds will go back to Springfield, and then Springfield will dictate where those capacity goes to. Could go to Carbondale, Illinois, could go downtown Chicago. The thought process behind here is it basically will go closer to home. If there's a project going on in Will County, where there's a couple on, this entity is actually getting together really for the first time since COVID, is my understanding, so we can then petition if we have some work that needs to be done in Kankakee County. So this is basically trying to keep the funds close to home and within the entity that we're part of versus letting those funds after May 1 just go back to Springfield. So we're looking for a Motion to suspend the rules for the passage of this ordinance.
Motion to suspend the rules and interfere the passage of this ordinance.
We have a motion from Alderman Brown. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
We have a second from Alderman Cobb's. Roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Abstain.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Prue.
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 abstention.
Is there a motion to place this ordinance on final reading for passage tonight?
Mayor, question.
So,
Is it, we have to go read the motion first?
Motion, then we can have questions, comments, yes.
so moved.
We have a motion from Alderman Brown. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second from Alderman Cobbs. Questions and comments?
Mayor,
Alderman Barron.
Is this is for the 2023 fiscal year, that the term runs from May 1 to April 30, and then we would renew it the subsequent year?
Each year, each year, there's an allocation, a capacity level that comes to the city of Kankakee, or Kankakee region, so.
Did we do this last year?
We did,
We did, okay.
yeah.
We've been doing this every year I can recall.
Yeah.
Long time.
I think the last project that was done in Kankakee County, to my recollection, would be Toltec Steel out at Eastgate, using that ability. But it is something I think that we need to take a hard look at, in particular in the city of Kankakee. It's good for anything that's within Kankakee County, but if we have projects, we really should be using it as an incentive tool in our own backyard, so. And doing a little bit better job, maybe marketing for somebody who could use that, so. We do believe that it can be used for residential, so it could be an option that we could with some of our projects to assist with that, so. Is there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis. Aye. Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Abstain to avoid a conflict. I'm one of the County of Kankakee appointees as a board member from Kankakee County.
Thank you. Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Prue.
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 abstention.
Ordinance passes. Next, item 12H.
A recommendation to approve local public agency engineering services agreement for the Brookmont Boulevard Improvement Project.
I'll let Mr. Pigish, but we'll start here. There's been some discussions with Brookmont Boulevard, in particular in front of Bishop McNamara High School. There's been a lot of accidents with that being 4-lane highway with no turn lanes, or I shouldn't say highway, road there. In doing a traffic study, Neil discovered it's probably one of the highest accidents areas that we have in all the city of Kankakee. Right there, especially when school's letting out or school is starting there. They looked at the similar situation with Kankakee High School, and what's the difference is Jeffrey has a 1 lane each way in a turn lane, and there has been very little accidents there compared to having 2 turn lanes going each direction and no turn lane. So there was a conceptual drawing that was designed, if you remember, under Brookmont Boulevard, that's single lane there, so basically taking it from Kennedy Avenue all the way to Brookmont Boulevard, a schematic design that would create a one-way east, one-way west center turn lane to get the cars off into a turning section, and then also look at adding bike paths and potentially other things there. So this would be the start of the surveying work, so that basically we'll call it shovel-ready drawings could be ready to potentially chase grants or however we want to fund this. So this is the initial work just to start the surveying work, and I'll let Mr. Pigish talk a little bit more if you'd like on that. So.
Thank you, Mayor. I think you summed it up pretty succinctly, but just to give everyone an idea, the traffic accident data, there's been 26 accidents in front of Bishop Mac from Entrance Avenue to Washington Avenue in that short stretch. That's all the accidents on Brookmont Boulevard. And you have inexperienced drivers coming out of the school. You have a 4-lane highway, which I'm not really a fan of because it hides cars when they're coming. When you have 2 cars coming in the same direction, the cars in the far lane are hidden by the cars in the near lane. And you couple that with inexperienced drivers, and 4-lane roads tend to have higher rates of speed because people have more room, When they're more comfortable, they just drive faster. That's just the nature of people behind cars. So I don't think it's the safest design in front of the school. I think we can do something to kind of narrow things up and slow down traffic and make people more aware of their surroundings. So as the mayor said, there was just a grant that just got announced a week ago called Safe Streets for All. This might qualify for that program. I don't know if we'll be ready in time to apply for it, but we're going to take a good hard look at that. So anyways, that's kind of a nutshell what we're looking at.
So part of this also is, as Neil's mentioned before, if you can get as close to, if not shovel-ready drawings and engineering drawings, you have a really good chance of getting grants in the future. So this will be a little bit of a process, but this will get us started, how we figure out the next steps of, are we chasing a grant, how we're paying for this, and what we go from there. So this is the approval to engage his engineering services to move forward. So we're looking for a motion to recommend the approval of this proposal from Pickish Engineering.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion from Alderwoman Malone Marshall and a second from Alderman Prue. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Staying to avoid a potential conflict of interest.
Thank you. Malone Marshall.
Aye.
Approved.
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 abstention.
The recommendation is approved. Next is item 12I.
A recommendation to approve the 2023 motor fuel tax street maintenance materials program.
Neil, would you like to go through real quick?
Yep. Thank you, Mayor. This is just the annual materials program for Public Works, where we have aggregate, hot patch, cold mix, various items, traffic control, signage materials that Public Works uses. They expend MFT funds for that every year. So this is just the annual materials program.
Is there a motion to accept the recommendation to approve the 2023 motor fuel tax street maintenance materials program?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Alderwoman Swanson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderman Marzak. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Staying to avoid a potential conflict of interest.
Malone Marshall.
Aye.
Approved.
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 abstention.
Recommendation is approved. Next, we'll move on to 12J, appointments, items 1 and 2.
Item 1 is David Crawford, an alternate for the Karma Board. And 2, Michael O'Brien, alternate for Karma Board.
Mr. Alderman Crawford was the alternate for the Karma Board for the past 2 years, and we have a need for a second alternate potentially. There's a potential meeting coming up where 2 of us could be missing at a Karma Board meeting, so we want to make sure that we have 2 alternates to fill in case that's ever needed. So we're recommending a second alternate for the Karma Board tonight, if need be, for the future. So we can do these individually, or we can do them as one, whatever you prefer. So I would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint both of them, 1 and 2, for alternate for Karma Board.
I'll
Dave
second
Crawford
that, Mayor.
and Mike O'Brien.
So we have a motion from Alderwoman Swanson to appoint David Crawford and Michael O'Brien as alternates to the Karma Board. We have a second from Alderman Osenga. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez. Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Abstain.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Abstain.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall.
Aye.
Approved.
Aye.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 abstentions.
We'll move on to item 13, motions and resolutions. Item 13A.
A A resolution accepting a grant from the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation Board of Directors.
Chief LaRoche, you want to announce what your department had received?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. A few months ago, a few of our firefighters have applied for a equipment grant from the Firehouse Public Safety Foundation. We were awarded a equipment grant for a Stryker chest compression system, a CPR device that assists us with chest compressions, for the amount of $1,269.60. This will be a direct purchase from Firehouse Sub, so they'll purchase the equipment and give it to us. So we just need approval to accept the.
Is there a motion to have a resolution accepting the grant from Firehouse Subs?
So move, Mayor.
We have a motion from Alderman Osinga. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderman Brown. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobb's.
Aye.
Lewis. Aye. Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Approved.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Thank you. Congratulations, Chief. Nice work by your team. Next is item 13B.
A resolution authorizing the execution of the City of Kankakee and Riverside Medical Center Memorandum of Understanding.
So this is a memorandum of understanding that I think goes back to 2005 with Riverside. What this is if you see in here, each year they do quite a bit of services that they don't get paid for people that might not have insurance or don't have the ability to pay. They get to be that as part of their community benefits program, and they announce what those numbers are. In order to get acknowledged for that, they have to basically have the local municipality agree that this is okay, that they're providing these free services going forward. So this has been signed by several mayors in the past. It came up for renewal. I think the number they gave me last year, if I remember correctly here, I just saw this in here somewhere. There we go. They did $3.7 million in lost charges in 2021. They won't have their 2022 numbers until the June 30th. So, but this is authorizing that as a city, we acknowledge that they provide these services, and that way they can report those for their certification and filing the papers. So this is a resolution allowing me to authorize this MOU with Riverside Medical Center. Is there a motion to approve such?
So moved.
Was that Alderman Crawford? We have a motion from Alderman Crawford. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second from Alderman Osinga. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobb's.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Approved.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, resolution is approved. Just legal did mention one thing. I thought I'd caught them all, but there is a section on page 2 to acknowledge a village instead of saying city. We've changed all those, so when we get to sign, we'll make that change from village to city. Next is item 13C.
A resolution for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code for the Brookmont Boulevard Improvement Project.
Mr. Pigish?
Thank you, Mayor. This is just the IDOT resolution authorizing MFT funds for the agreement that was just previously approved.
Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderwoman Marshall. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Alderman Prue. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobb's.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Abstain to avoid a potential conflict of interest.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Approved.
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 abstention.
Resolution is approved. Next is item 13D.
A resolution authorizing expenditure of city funds consistent with fiscal year 2022-23.
I'm going to ask Comptroller Kubal if she can explain items D and E. We did do E at ESU to forward to this committee, but Comptroller Kubal?
Yes, as is our history, we pass one of these when the budget is not quite yet ready to go so that we can continue spending, paying the bills, and paying payroll the way that we have this fiscal year with a past budget. We will continue in the way that we have been spending money. As most of you know, both budgets are running very well this year. So we will continue in that lane until the budget is passed in the early summer months. We're working on it currently.
So item 13D is the first one. That is for the city's general operating budget. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Alderwoman Swanson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Alderwoman Johnson. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson. Aye. Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Approved.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Next is item 13E.
A resolution authorizing the expenditure of environmental services utility funds consistent with fiscal year 2022-23.
So this is very similar to the general operating budget, but several years ago, we decided that it would best also do this for the ESU budget because it is a separate budget that we work off of. So looking for a motion to accept this resolution for environmental services utility.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Alderwoman Swanson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Alderwoman Johnson. Any questions or comments regarding this one? Seeing none, roll call.
Brown.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Cobbs.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Navarez.
Aye.
Marzak.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Osenga.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Malone Marshall. Aye. Approved.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, resolution is approved. Everyone take a deep breath for a second. So, been a little bit of a roll there, so. Okay. Or at least maybe I should take a deep breath. So. We have no need for an executive session tonight, so we will now move on to item 17, and that is city council member comments. Alderman Marzak.
I'd like to just address the situation downtown. I know the police have been working nonstop for the past month and a half, where they could be dedicating, the services to fighting other needs throughout the community, but they got to go and babysit downtown. We've heard from many business owners tonight. I've seen it for myself. I spent quite a bit of time in the last month purposely observing what was going on downtown. And it's the equivalent of the fire department pouring gas on a fire that they're trying to put out. We got a lot of good things happening in Kankakee, and I've lived here my whole life. I will echo what was said tonight. It has never been this bad downtown. If we are going to move forward, we need to really think about what we're doing, because the fact of the matter is people are coming here because of certain services. And if we build a shelter, people are going to send people here because they're already doing that. They are not going to know that the shelter is full. So it may be if we build a 36-bed facility, they're not going to know that the 36 beds are full. There's going to be 20, 30, 40 people outside of that shelter. And I don't see it being any different than it is right downtown when it goes over behind CVS. And, it's not just Pinsky's buildings. It's, over there out on a limb, urinating in the bathroom, on the floor, not in the urinal. This is a problem. How we address it, I think we need to have a serious conversation on what direction we're going to move with this. Other communities, it's awesome that they're willing to step up and put, money forth. But that is a one-time fee to get the problem out of your community. And if anybody thinks we're being the bad guy, I say we take and we will fund 100, 200,000 if another community thinks that it's a great way to go. I have the privilege of an individual got his car impounded. He was homeless after that. I called EMS because he needed medical. EMS shows up, so does county. County officer, ask about the situation. The secretary says, well, isn't there a homeless shelter around here? And he says, well, there's Fortitude and there's Gift to God, but they're not going to take him because he's, intoxicated. The point being is we are going to be the go-to for every agency that needs to place an individual that is unfortunate to be in that circumstance. Myself, the mayor, several other people have been downtown, went over to the local liquor store where I witnessed two people beating two other people in a car, literally fist throwing at other people's face. I asked the young man after it was all said and done, I says, what are you doing? He says, where do you want the homeless to stay? And I go, it took me back because he's a very fit young man, probably young 20s. And I said, you're not staying in shelter, are you? He says, yes. I said, where are you from? He says, I'm from Bourbonnais, and my dad kicked me out. He don't want me there anymore. I asked him, what is your plan out of this? He says, I'm looking for a job. I looked at him, and I'm like, okay, he's a fit individual. There needs to be a path out. Just housing somebody doesn't do any good. It's like giving somebody that's hungry a hamburger. He's no longer hungry for that moment. He's still going to be hungry tomorrow. So it's a nationwide problem. It's not just a countywide problem. It's a nationwide problem. But they are shipping people, they are giving people tickets to the West Coast because there's facilities there. And obviously, we heard tonight, there's opportunities to come to Kankakee because we have that facility. Where do we go from here? But, listening to the business owners, we got to make a decision what we're going to do.
Alderman Osinga.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank Alderman Brown for your many 20-plus years of service. You've done a great job for our city. I know somebody's going to be filling that chair, and they've got some big shoes to fill. I want to thank you for everything you've done. You've been very constructive. You've done a lot for the city of Kankakee, and you've done very well at that, and I want to thank you for that. Dave, thank you for being my seatmate in the third ward. You're not only my seatmate, you and I become very good friends. Dave and I talk almost daily about different things that are going on. And whenever I needed something, you were always there. You stepped up and did whatever needed to be done. I want to thank you for that. Both of you guys, you enjoy your newfound freedom, your newfound time. I don't know what you're going to do. Or maybe you'll just come back and sit in the back there and listen to all the stuff that goes on. Maybe not. I don't know.
That looked like a hard no from Alderman Brown.
And I also want to take the time, I want to invite everybody to come down to Smitty's tonight for, you want a beer, you want some water, you want a Coke, just come down for some fellowship. I've got some pizzas down there. I want to invite anybody and everybody that wants to come down and say goodbye to these two troopers. Thank you.
Alderman Jones?
Yes, a couple things. I'm not going to be long, just preach along. But anyway, I want to echo that, but I'm going to say something first. I want to really thank Firehouse for what they did on behalf of the firefighters, because now they're going to make me have to go over and eat subs and stuff. Because when you take care of my guys, I'm real sentimental to that. And I was really impressed this week. Last week when y'all was over on Wildwood, man, y'all was doing it. We had a big fire over there to see all the guys in action, man, and how it was working. I just want to say, Chief, good job over there. I don't always get to see it because I just be busy, but I just want to tell you that I was proud of what I seen all the guys in action, and also Chief Passwater, thanks for the camera up over there. We know we had a little incident but I thank your proactiveness on that. I ain't had to really say nothing about it. You was on it, and I want to appreciate you for doing that. I don't take lightly when people do things for the ward, because I'm real big about that. You ain't got to do nothing for me, do it for the ward. I'm good. All right, so I truly thank you for that. Also, I want to echo tonight, Alderman Crawford, thank you for your friendship and being on the council, getting to know you. You've been, being the chair and everything. You taught me a lot, and, even making mistakes, I really appreciate you, and getting to know you as a person was really, really good, and I'm thanking you for that. Now, the best for last, this guy that's sitting beside me, I'm just so proud of having the opportunity to serve with you. I've been knowing you for a long time, but to serve with you is a whole different thing. And your open support for me, your love for me, I just want to publicly say thank you for your service, not only to the city, but to me personally, and I appreciate that. And I heard what you, I don't think my shoes are big enough to sit in that seat, but I am just ecstatic. Yeah, I've got little shoes, so I'm just proud to have gotten to know you even in the political realm. I knew you even before that, but I appreciate everything and the service that you've given to the community through the football program, helping others, to how you handle meetings and how you handle everybody. You always got a good spirit about yourself, and that really helps me because people think I'm kind of laid back. I can be ridiculous, but you've kept me as a person that I was able to grow under, and that made my transition easier. Everybody think that I've done so much. I haven't done much. I'll just be smart enough to know who coattails to ride on and who to watch, and I really appreciate that. I'm not afraid to say that because I'm learning from the best, and I need your prayers as I step over into that seat. But I wanted to publicly say we're losing a real good man, but I want you to enjoy yourself. I really, really want you to enjoy yourself because you've given so much to our community and taken away from your wife, and some people don't even know it, but I truly, truly appreciate you, and I appreciate what you've done for us in Kankakee, and I want you to enjoy your retirement. Somebody else, they're going to probably, I wanted to finish it tonight because I know next time it's going to be quick and all that, but I publicly wanted to say that, and thank you for everything, my friend.
Alderman Crawford.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to start off with probably a negative and finish with a positive, but I've been in business downtown for 40 years, and I can really relate with business people downtown. I mean, it's the worst I've ever seen it down here with the homeless. All of you know that I've been kind of helping Fortitude, trying to raise money for them to get this project off and going. Kankakee County, Andy Wheeler and them, they've just donated $150,000 for them to do daytime shelter. I still don't think they're going to have the funds to get over it. I would say when we're at our ARPA meeting on May 24th, it's at 5:30. If Fortitude can't do daytime shelter, this project is never. I mean, just having a night shelter and housing people during the night and letting them out in the streets in the day, it's set up for failure, like Alderman Barron said. There has to be a different plan for them to be successful in our community. We got a lot of good, positive things going on in the city. We're moving in a great direction. There's people from other communities starting to come to the city of Kankakee now. We got farmers market. We have the music fest. There's a lot of great things going on. I'd like to thank all you guys for working. I think we all work pretty good together. We always didn't agree. That's politics. We try to get to a place that we can work and have things work. Thanks to all the department heads. It's been a joy working with you. All three mayors I worked with, Mayor Epstein, Mayor Wells, Mayor Curtis. It's been a joy. I think we're moving in a great direction. I think the mayor's got great people in positions to make the city succeed and thrive. So It's all in your hands now, and then the new people that are elected, you guys will do a great job. Larry, thanks for your friendship. Thanks for everything you taught me. Most of all, our friendship will last forever. Thank you.
Alderman Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I had no intention of saying anything tonight, but I must say this because I'm leaving. I understand the homeless. I understand the crisis that you're going through now. I have to go back and put on my Assistant Chief of Correction hat just to tell you some things. When I was Assistant Chief of Correction, we used to buy people tickets to Chicago when they got out of jail. We sent them to Chicago. Chicago bought them the tickets to send them back. We had money in the commissary funds. If they get here and create funds, we send them away. They find a way back. Then we found out the Illinois Department of Correction, if one of our guys got sent to the correction and they wanted to come home and they had no place to go, they were released into the Salvation Army. Their friends in the community would follow them from the Department of Correction to the Salvation Army. So I guess my thing is this: you're not going to stop people from coming here because they already heard about it. So I don't know how you're going to bridge that. Don't kick the can down the road. There's got to be a solution to this. Fortitude have to work with you guys in order to solve this problem. A day shelter in itself, and a night shelter is not going to be the only thing. You're going to need more than that. So what you're talking about is very hard. It's very hard to do. Homelessness exists in this nation, is one of the biggest issues that government is facing right now. In Chicago, I think they have 400,000 homeless people. It's an epidemic right now. So I admire you guys, and and I'm glad to see you guys going to tackle it and not me, because I don't think I could do it. To you, city council members, I didn't never think it's going to be this hard to say goodbye to my colleagues and my friends, because we can be enemies one day, but politicians, you can be friends the next day. And I have lived with some of you guys since you guys been here. I guess I'm the oldest one, so I guess ever since you've been here, I've been here. So I respect all of you guys, and if you guys miss me, then say, I hope you miss me because I try to treat all of you guys with respect and dignity. I don't know what my service was, but I know what my heart was. My heart was always to never hold anything personal against any one of you, and try to do the best I could do and give the best service I could give. Like you say, Larry, I've had 4 great mayors. I'm going to be totally honest with you. They have already treated me fairly. And I got to say this, Mayor Curtis, I think you're doing a great job. And I hope this council stays together like it is now. When I first moved here, I used to see council fight all night long. I see it's getting late, so I'm gonna shut up. All night long, and I never want to get in politics because the fact of the matter, I saw so much infighting and the business of the people never got done. I think now the business of the people is getting done. Not as fast and not as ready as we want it, but it's getting done. And I hope you guys keep that going. Remember, great to have a smart mind. You can be the smartest, but the greatest thing to have a caring heart. And I think you guys does that. So I would just want to thank you guys for allowing me to occupy this seat for so long. And I thank the citizens for 7 wards, and the people of Kankakee that have allowed me to serve them, because this is my home, this is the home I love. Thank you.
Any other Alderman comments? Alderman Prude.
Ditto Crawford and Brown. I don't want to keep you long, so ditto what everybody else said. Thanks again for the gun buyback. I was able to get there late, but I seen it was another success. Might have been a little bit slower, but good job. Thanks.
Any other aldermen? Any department head comments? Okay. I'll follow up. I know we want to get out of here, but there are a few things I want to acknowledge. Some of them are happy, some are not so good, and some are sad. So we'll kind of start with some of the good stuff. I want to congratulate all the aldermen and alderwomen that were reelected and in your seats. That's Alderman Prude, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Cobbs, Alderman Jones, Alderwoman Swanson, Alderman Marzak, and Alderwoman Lewis. It's a pleasure to be able to know that this is not your last meeting, that we're coming back, and next week we'll celebrate you as you're resworn in. I'm going to save comments and recognition for Alderman Crawford and Alderman Brown until next week. You're still not done. So you have to be back here on May 1st, and the city, and I'm sure a lot more people will honor you at that time, and I'll make my comments to you at that time. So you have to come back. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. So I also want to give a shout out to Mrs. Johnny Graham Wicks. She did a great job of Youth Violence Prevention Week last week. We had a great event at the library on Friday night with several partners. Including she had Monica's Pizza there to provide a pizza for the youth, and we partnered with several people on that. And then she quarterbacked the gun buyback again on Saturday morning. We did tweak it a little bit where we really tried to incentivize the money towards handguns versus, I'll call it shotguns and rifles, and it was successful. It was a little slower paced, and I think it was because it was slower paced in a good way, because I think we got more of the weapons that we're trying to target there. I think we ended the day. I'd heard from Chief Passwater as we were getting ready to close up. There was an older woman who came in, and I believe it might have been two. I can't remember if it was one or two handguns, but she had brought them in. It said it had been in her house for a long time. She didn't know how to use them, but she was concerned about her grandkids being in the house and getting access to them. So she was very happy to be able to turn those in. So sometimes you want to get them out of the people that are doing the shooting, but also it's good just to get them out of the home sometimes where somebody maybe accidentally gets a hold of it and causes some hurt to somebody else or themselves. So that was a very good program, and I want to thank her for doing that all last week. On a positive note, we had a retirement, Commander Lohman, with 31 years, Chief Passwater. He was 31 years. He retired a week ago, last Thursday. Was it last? I'm trying to remember my days here. Time's flying by. I think it was a week ago Thursday. So we wish him nothing but the best in his retirement years going forward. And then we do have some sad news. I believe I sent an email to everybody within the city. Unfortunately, over the weekend, retired Assistant Comptroller Maureen Cambick, she passed away suddenly after going into the hospital. So that's what the bunting is up for at the Public Safety Building at the administration. So please keep her family in your prayers. I believe these services were announced today. Friday will be the wake, and Friday will be the services. So please keep her family in your memory. And then lastly, I think enough people have spoke tonight about downtown and what's going on. I just want to comment, Alderman Brown, you're 100% correct. There is a long way to go, and closing the gazebo is not the solution. It's just a small part of what we're just trying to do to rein some things in. And people ask, well, that's not going to stop it. Well, it is a public area, and LEGO is working on a lot of different things of how we handle the public areas. It's one thing to be using it by just sitting there. It's another thing to be using it when you're drinking alcohol, or you're littering, or you're harassing the public, and that's why we had to make that change just right there as a small solution. It's not something we want to be permanent, not at all. We want that to be open, especially as the warmer days come here. But the reality is we, as it was mentioned before, we're seeing, where maybe used to be 8 to 10 to 15 homeless that were being dealt with in the community, it's now probably well over 30 to 40. We're here, last Thursday, I was told at the PNC Bank when they sent a text that morning they'd found one person sleeping in the elevator shaft, 2 people in the stairwell. So not everybody is getting to the homeless shelter either. It's because we have a much larger crowd that is coming to our community here. I don't know the answer. We all want to help go forward, but we also have a duty to protect the residents and the businesses downtown too. So it's a fine line. Who do you help and where do you help? We're going to have to work on that together going forward. I don't know any of us have the answers or the solutions. If you do, you're probably going to get a Nobel Peace Prize, because it's, as I said, it's not just a Illinois or a county problem, it's a national problem. And so we're trying to protect all is what we're trying to do. As I mentioned, I don't really have a problem. It was brought up that what's wrong with excuse me, what's wrong with having a person hanging out the gazebo if they don't have a place to stay? There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when you get 12 to 15 people together, and now they're becoming, as I think it was brought up earlier, almost bully-like, harassing people, fights happening. I mean, as Alderman Marzak watched, I went back to City Hall one day, and I see a fight breaking out coming on, and I called 911. I believe Alderman Marzak he happened to be somewhere else, but he calls 911. We follow. Everybody goes back to the gazebo and says, I was not part of it. Well, unfortunately, we actually witnessed it and saw it and had to tell the police, no, they were a part of it. So there is, not everybody's the problem. It's not all homeless that are causing problem. There is an entity and a group that I call day drinkers. They've got to go place to go stay at night. They're just looking for a good place to party and have a good time. And what's happening is that party starts for a little bit, but then after a few hours, it turns into major problems. And we're trying to get ahead of it before it's just a fight with fists. I'm fearful that it turns into a fight with knives, or worse yet, it turns into a fight with a gun. I hope it never gets to that stage, but that's what we're trying to get ahead here right now. I don't know the answers, but obviously I think we're going to have, whether it's next Monday or whether we just have to call a special meeting, we have to have a long and hard discussion about what we're going to do as the city of Kankakee moving forward. We all want to help, but we don't have the resources right now. I've heard people sit there and say, well, it's the police's job to be downtown and watching that. We literally have a squad car that's just sitting at the gazebo, driving back and forth between the gazebo and the depot. That's all they're doing. They're doing a 2-block radius. We have too many other problems that we are making progress on, that we need those resources, officers, to do more than just 2 blocks. So I'm just saying that we've got a long way to go, and I'll take a lot of that heat and that blame. I'm not going to take the heat and blame. I'm going to say, though, I'm going to take the blame for that. I am trying to protect the downtown businesses and the property. So it'll come off that we're callous and cold, but we have a job to protect the residents and the businesses in downtown Kankakee that spend a lot of their dollars. We have a job to protect our own public library so that it can be a safe haven for our youth to go to. So it's tough. There is no right answer, and I don't know we're going to find one anytime soon, but we have to talk about it a lot because we're hearing it from both sides, and I want to address it, but I know for a fact that closing gazebo does not solve the solution. That was just a small little piece to basically try and get those, the sidewalk dining is up now in downtown. People want to sit out on the sidewalk. The last thing they want to do is see fights across the street, screaming across the street, whatever it might be. So we'll continue to talk about it. And with that, we'll get everybody out here. I hope to see a lot of you if you've got some time. Let's celebrate Alderman Brown and Alderman Crawford, even if it's for 10 minutes of just saying hello and thank you for all your service, and we'll recognize you on May 1st. Looking forward to seeing all the aldermen return with their families, and they're swearing in our new duly elected aldermen and alderwoman that night. So it should be, we'll keep business very light on May 1st. There'll be a few things we do have to get through, but let's make May 1st a celebration for you. So with that, it is 8:55. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderwoman Malone Marshall, and I think we had a second from Alderman Marzak. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
You need a drink.